What is up, guys? Welcome to another video. I figured, while I got Handbrake running, I normally make a thumbnail for my video, so why not record what I'm going to do for this particular thumbnail? So I'm making a Titanfall video, and I use the program called GIMP. GIMP is free software. You can download it, link in the description. There's a few tutorials online on how to use it, but if you guys already know what it is, then I'll just go over what I do. I will say right off the bat, this is the dumbed down version of any sort of thumbnail making thing ever. I don't have a clue what I'm doing when it comes to anything Photoshop related, really. This is just what I've pretty much taught myself. So obviously we're making a Titanfall thumbnail, so I went ahead and just Googled a Titanfall image and found one. Also, I found the font on DeFont, I think it's like .com, I'm not sure. But basically what I did was Googled Titanfall font, and happened to be on DeFont. Somebody said in the forums, do they have this? And basically led me to this font, which is exactly that. So I went ahead, all you have to do on this site is just hit download. Obviously I've already downloaded it, and it will come up in a download folder, and you just double click on it. We'll show you the font. Then you'll just click install. I'm not going to install it because I obviously already have it. So that's where I go to get fonts if you need them to font, or just Google, like type in BF4 font, and usually somebody will have found something close. Or if you just want to kind of browse fonts, this is a great website to do so. Now that we have our picture and our font, I'm going to go ahead and make sure this image is scaled, because YouTube uses 1280 by 720, and this particular image is not an exact 16 by 9. Obviously it's a 728, so I'm just going to go ahead and make that 720. It is going to warp the image a little bit. If it was anything much higher, I probably wouldn't do this, but basically I just went to scale, and then I'll scale this image down. Now I'll zoom back in on it and get my window to fit. So now we have our image. I'm going to add some text, which is this button right here. And we'll just kind of we'll make something that says Titanfall right here. So I'm going to go find my font. It was German something or another. And you make sure you close out of GIMP before you go looking for your fonts, because they do have to install first. So here it is right here. I'm just going to go ahead and make a little bit larger. So we'll go with Titanfall. Obviously I cut it off a little bit. So there we go. That's some pretty cool font, I think, personally. And I don't know if I like the outline. So I think there's another one. This is just the basic. So yeah, this is the one I've been using. So that's pretty standard issue there. What I will do is do something that makes it pop a little bit more. It basically just makes a border around the text. So I'll go to my text over here. This is where you kind of view things. You can go through all that. There's plenty of tutorials, like I was saying, but this will be specific to what I do. So we go to our text and go alpha to selection. You'll see it selects the text here. Then you can go to select border, and I'm going to grow the border by, let's say, 5. So that basically just put an outline around the text there. So now I can go over to like a fill color, and I think what looks cool, something like that. Sorry if you can hear my dog, she's having puppy dreams in the background. But oops, sorry about that. You can go in with the paint bucket and just fill out the outline. So that was just boom, and then I clicked to that outline that I made, and I have this sweet font outline. And to get rid of all that selection stuff, you just right click, go to select, and hit none, so you can have a better view of what's going on there. So the font looks pretty good, but the image is kind of washed out. So if you, depending on what you select over here in this layers tab, and if this isn't pulled up for you, just go over to Windows and then dockable dialogues, and you can see your layers. There's a bunch of different stuff, but if you accidentally close out of that, that's where that is. But we'll just click on this selection, which is the background picture. Then we'll go to colors, then we go to brightness and contrast, and I'm going to turn down the brightness a little bit and maybe crank up the contrast, and it's going to give it a little bit more depth and a little bit more feel to it. So I'm just going to hit OK on that. So I got my text and the name of the game. And I got my cool background image, but this particular video I'm uploading is going to be a live commentary. So, oops, apologize. I'm going to go ahead and put something about a live commentary over here. Because remember, on YouTube, there's the little time signature stamp in the bottom right. So you can't really put anything down here text-wise, or otherwise it's going to be it's going to be covered up by the time of the video. So I'm going to make it over on this side. And I'm probably going to end up moving it because this is kind of covering up these soldiers. We'll see what we end up doing. And I'm going to go back to a black text and just type in live com. And we'll see. I can't decide if I want to put like, because technically this is number 2. Oops, I didn't make my text box quite big enough. So I might do something like that. And then again, go over here, alpha to selection, select our text, and then select my border, and then grow that by 5. Go back over to this. And if you accidentally lose your color, you can just go to this little drip and then click, and then boom, it's got my color again. I can go to my paint bucket and drop it in there. So now let's unselect all that and see what we kind of have. So I like the thumbnail. It's kind of covering up this this Titan over here, which I don't really like. You can go to this tool right here, the move tool. You can just click M as well. We can move our text over. Maybe we'll do it somewhere like this. And if you're really concerned and really particular about how your lines are lining up, you can go to this border trim right here and just click inside of it, and you can put a marker. So if I want to line that up right there, which I actually did a fairly good job, but these work as markers that you can kind of just use for lining things up, and especially if you're doing something specific to like making a YouTube background, this works really well for that. But if you're pretty anal about being symmetrical, you can use this and kind of give yourself a line to work off of. So I kind of like that. I might move it down just a little bit. So I'm back to the move tool, and I can't remember the exact amount of room you have down here to work with, but I think I'm going to go with something like that. So that's a super simple image, and then I might save this particular kind of a template so I can come back and make livecom number 3 and number 4 with this same everything. So what I would do there is just a save as, and what I have is on my media drive, I can go to my GIMP 2, and I made a folder and called it projects, and then I'll make this one called Titanfall Live Comms or something like that, whatever it saves it as. And yeah, then I'll be able to come back to this and edit this image. So keep in mind when you open this back up, when you click on this, it's going to ask you if you want to edit. You're going to have to go ahead and edit it. So if I wanted to make like number 3, I would just do that. Then when I go back, I'm going to have to go and do the same alpha to selection and do the whole thing to color it back in. But I won't really go over that again since you clearly just saw me do it. So I just hit Command Z to get all that stuff out of here. But now to actually export this, so I'm just going to right click on it, hit File, Export, and then I have in my photos, I have a thumbnails folder with all my thumbnails. So I'll just make it Titanfall number or livecom 1, and I'll export it, and there you go, boom. So if I go over to my photos folder over here, go to thumbnails, I can see that Titanfall livecoms. I'll open this up, and boom, there's my thumbnail. So thank you guys for checking out this video. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them down below. But like I said, this is just kind of the dumbed down version of how to make a YouTube thumbnail. I'm no expert by any stretch of the means. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching. I'll talk to you later.